Welcome, everybody. Welcome and thank you for being here. This is the Less is More coaching podcast and videocast. And today we are going to be sharing the areas of training and development that are pertinent to today's business, family, faith, and speaking about all of it through the filters of communications integrity. We're here for the next 30 minutes, and I'm streaming currently on 8 different social media platforms and also here on Clubhouse, where we have an opportunity to also have an audience that pops in. And I see that we have one person has popped in already. And this is, for me, I just want people to understand it doesn't matter whether people pop in or not, whether they come in, if they have an opportunity to come up. It is completely an opportunity to listen, to just be there. My goal is to share content and to look at all of the stuff that I have acquired from coaches and from instructors and teachers and mentors over the past 4 decades. And my goal is to bring all of that into these podcasts Monday and Tuesday at 3:30 Central for 30 minutes and just pour into people as much as I can. And what inspired this was I just did what I call an organizational cleaning and dumping. And I bumped into all of this material and I went, I haven't seen this in 30 years. What a great thing to share with people. Wow. And I thought, this is it. This is what I'm going to make the topics about in my podcasts, is stuff that people have shared with me, stuff that has come across my desk over the past 30 years. In fact, it might be 33 years, since 1989. And I probably had some stuff that came across my desk in the mid 80s to the end of the 80s. So yes, there are probably going to be people in this room that weren't even born then. And I'm so excited about it because what I realize is that this is the information that is out there in mainstream that people keep picking up. They refurbish it, they retitle it, and they come out and go, I produced this. Look what I produced. And it's like, no, you didn't. This is just a refurbishing, rebranding, renaming of something that's been around for decades, for, in some cases, thousands of years. In one of the other rooms that I'm doing Mondays at noon Central Standard Time, we are looking at the John Maxwell Leadership Bible. And that's and taking a look at all of his work since 2006 that he's done, going from the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible on leadership qualities and skills that have started and been around. Well, there you go. The Bible's been around since over 2,000, 3,000 years. It's been put together over that time frame. And to see what we showed up today, I can tell you this. For those of you that are listening to this, either live here or on replays, you really want to go and check out the replay from today. It was one of the most eye-opening things for me as a man to see that in Genesis, God said both men and women can be leaders. And that's the expectation. So somewhere along the line, since that was written, somebody has subverted that and tried to make men more powerful than women. And now we're dealing with the impact of that as we start to restore the integrity of having women be as equals and as powerful in leadership. And no, I'm not just saying this because on Clubhouse, I have a room full of women. I'm saying this because this is one of the most powerful things that we discovered today. And there were a couple of men in the room as well as women. And it really is obnoxious to see the fact that this has been subverted. And now we're having to fight to bring it back. And so that's just one of the things that's popping up. And I'm excited to share some of the stuff that has come across my desk over time. And, it's not mine. Some of it may be my interpretation of it, and I will definitely be clear about that. And we'll be able to discover uses for it amongst ourselves, and for the people that come in, for me to be able to share something and say, hey, how could you use this? How do you think you could use this in your business? And that's where we're going to get some interesting playback and some interesting fun stuff. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this. And the first thing I wanted to share today was about this famous, I found this famous little red book. And it's called The Original Edition. If you know what you want, you can have it. It Works by RHJ, the famous little red book that makes your dreams come true. Over 1.5 million of these little books at Works. It's a concise, definite, resultful plan with rules, explanations, and suggestions for bettering your condition in life. If you know what you want, you can have it. All who joy would win must share it. Happiness was born a twin. And that's a quote from Byron. And this little book was written the first time in 1926. And then it was redone in 1953. And to RHJ, it works from JFS. And I'm still looking to discover who all these initials are. I haven't gone through, and we'll get to that as we go through it. Before this book even had a title, the author sent the manuscript to a friend for an opinion to see what others thought. The friend returned it with a very simple notation. It works! Thus, this small booklet was born of experience and results. RHJ was highly successful and widely known for his generosity and helpful spirit. He gave full credit for all he accomplished in mastering circumstances, accumulating wealth, and winning friends by quietly adopting the simple, powerful truth which he shared in his work. Here is an easy, open road to a larger, happier life. The author preferred that his name be omitted, knowing that greatest good comes from helping others without expecting praise. Unbelievable. So first off, I just want to say hello to a few people. I see a few people popped into the room. And one of the things on Clubhouse, oops, sorry about that, Dr. Mina. Is I love to bring everybody up on stage. Dr. Mina, sorry, I bumped you down. I hit the wrong button. I was looking to hit the green moderating button. All thumbs. Welcome, Suzanne. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Cherie. Hi, Danae. Hi, Monique.
Did you say the name of the book was The Little Red Book?
I did. The famous Little Red Book.
It's called The Famous Little Red Book or The Little Red Book?
The famous Little Red Book that makes your dreams come true. And I will, you know what I'll do is I'll do a quick screenshot, Suzanne, and I'll take a picture of it and you'll be able to see it. Give me 2 seconds here. And here we go. There it is. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. And it's all of about 20 some pages, all little tiny. It's one of those little tiny books. I don't even think it's, I think it's 4 inches by 5 inches, by 6 inches, excuse me, 4 by 6 little book. All right. And it says, what is the real secret of obtaining desirable possessions? Are some people born under a lucky star or other charm which enables them to have all that which seems so desirable? And if not, what is the cause of the difference in conditions under which men and women live? Many years ago, feeling that there must be a logical answer to this question, I decided to find out, if possible, what it was. I found the answer to my own satisfaction and for years have given the information to others who have used it successfully. From a scientific, psychological, or theological viewpoint, some of the following statements may be interpreted as incorrect, but nevertheless, the plan has brought the results desired to those who have followed the simple instructions, and it is my sincere belief that I am now presenting it in a way which will bring happiness and possessions to many more. Here we go. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride, is the attitude taken by the average man and woman in regard to possessions. They are not aware of a power so near that it is overlooked, so simple in operation that it is difficult to conceive, and so sure in results that it is not made use of consciously or recognized as the cause of failure or success. Gee, I wish that were mine, is the outburst of Jimmy, the office boy, as a new red roadster goes by and Florence, the telephone operator, expresses the same thought regarding a ring in the jeweler's window, while poor old Jones, the bookkeeper, during the Sunday stroll, replies to his wife, "Yes, dear, it would be nice to have a home like that, but it is out of the question. We will have to continue to rent." Landham, the salesman, protests that he does all the work, gets the short end of the money, and will someday quit his job and find a real one. And President Bondum, in his private sanctorium, voices a bitter tirade against the annual attack of hay fever. At home, it is much the same. Last evening, father declared that daughter Mabel was headed straight for disaster, and today, mother's allowance problem and other trying affairs fade into insignificance. As she exclaims, "This is the last straw. Robert's schoolteacher wants to see me this afternoon. His reports are terrible, I know, but I'm late for bridge now." She'll have to wait until tomorrow. So goes the endless streams of expressions like these from millions of people in all classes who give no thought to what they really want and who are getting all they are entitled to or expect. If you are one of these millions of thoughtless talkers or wishers and would like a decided change from your present condition, you can have it. But first of all, you must know what you want. And this is no easy task. When you can train your objective mind, the mind that you use every day, to decide definitely upon the things or conditions you desire, you will have taken your first step in accomplishing or securing what you know you want. To get what you want is no more mysterious or uncertain than the radio waves all around you. Tune in correctly, and you get a perfect result. But to do this, it is of course, necessary to know something of your equipment and have a plan of operation. You will have within you a mighty power, anxious and willing to serve you, a power capable of giving you that which you earnestly desire. This power is described by Thompson J. Hudson, PhD, LLD, and author of The Law of Psychic Phenomena, as your subjective mind. Other learned writers use different names and terms, but all agree that it is omnipotent. Therefore, I call this power Emmanuel, God in us. Regardless of the name of this great power or the conscious admission of a God, the power is capable and willing to carry to a complete and perfect conclusion every earnest desire of your objective mind. But you first must be really in earnest about what you want. Occasional wishing or half-hearted wanting does not form a perfect connection or communication with your omnipotent power. You must be in earnest, sincerely and truthfully desiring certain conditions or things, mental, physical, or spiritual. Your objective mind and will are so vacillating that you usually only wish for things, and the wonderful, capable power within you does not function. Most wishes are simply vocal expressions. Jimmy, the office boy, gave no thought of possessing the red roadster. Landon, the salesman, was not thinking of any other job or even thinking at all. President Bondum knew he had hay fever and was expecting it. Father's business was quite likely successful, and Mother no doubt brought home first prize from the bridge party that day. But they had no fixed idea of what they really wanted their children to accomplish, and were actually helping to bring about the unhappy conditions which existed. If you are in earnest about changing your present condition, here is a concise, definite, resultful plan with rules, explanations, and suggestions. Get ready, everybody. Here it comes. So if you have a pen and paper, number one, the plan. Write down on paper, in order of their importance, the things and conditions you really want. Do not be afraid of wanting too much. Go the limit in writing down your wants. Change the list daily, adding to it or taking from it, until you have it about right. Do not be discouraged on account of changes, as this is natural. There will always be changes and additions with accomplishments and increasing desires. There are 3 positive rules of accomplishment. Okay, number 1, read the list of what you want 3 times each day: morning, noon, and night. Number 2, think of what you want as often as possible. 3, do not talk to anyone about your plan except to the great power within you, which will unfold to your objective mind and the method of accomplishment, i.e., pray to God. It is obvious that you cannot acquire faith at the start. Some of your desires, from all practical reasoning, may seem positively unattainable, but nevertheless, write them down on your list in their proper place of importance to you. There is no need to analyze how this power within you is going to accomplish your desires. Such a procedure is as unnecessary as trying to figure out why a grain of corn placed in fertile soil shoots up a grain stalk. Blossoms and produces an ear of corn containing hundreds of grains, each capable of doing what the one grain did. If you will follow this definite plan and carry out the 3 simple rules, the method of accomplishment will unfold quite as mysteriously as the ear of corn appears on the stalk, and in most cases, much sooner than you expect. When new desires, deserving position at or about the top of your list, come to you, then you may rest assured you are progressing correctly. Removing from your list items which at first you thought you wanted is another sure indication of progress. It is natural to be skeptical and have doubts, distrust, and questionings. But when these thoughts arise, get out your list, read it over, or if you have it memorized, talk to your inner self about your desires until the doubts that interfere with your progress are gone. Remember, nothing can prevent your having that which you earnestly desire. Others have these things. Why not you? The omnipotent power, God, within you does not enter into any controversial argument. It is waiting and willing to serve when you are ready. But your objective mind is so susceptible to suggestion that it is almost impossible to make any satisfactory progress when surrounded by skeptics. Therefore, choose your friends carefully and associate with people who now have some of the things you really want. But do not discuss your method of accomplishment. Put down on your list of wants such material things as money, home, automobile, or whatever it may be, but do not stop there. Be more definite if you want an automobile. Decide what kind, style, price, color, and all the other details, including when you want it. If you want a home, plan the structure, grounds, and furnishings. Decide on location and cost. If you want money, write down the amount. If you want to break a record in your business, put it down. It may be a sales record. If so, write out the total, the date, numbered, required, then the number of items you must sell to make it. Okay, we're going to pause here because the second half we can finish tomorrow, but I'd love to hear from you, Suzanne. What are you getting out of this so far?
It sounds like the law of attraction.
It does, doesn't it?
However, there's one thing that sometimes we forget to do. Sometimes we forget to do repetition, and not just repetition, but from the head to the heart.
Amen.
Passion, excitement.
It's wonderful. I love it. That is it. It is, and I think that this, for me, this is so simple and so beautiful, right? We have all of these complex DVDs, complex books with chapters and even a workbook. And here it is, this little red book. that says it so simply. I just think it's so much fun to see this. And one of the things that I believe is sometimes, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Suzanne, in a second. Sometimes I believe that we overcomplicate things. And in the overcomplication, we create roadblocks and barriers that the only reason they exist is that we made them up from failure. And we chose to respond and say that the failure, rather than just the human condition, and all we have to do is pick ourselves up, brush off our knees, dust off our elbows, and keep going, is that in that failure, there are people that get lost in that failure like quicksand. What do you think about that, Suzanne?
I say that for me, the most important word in the dictionary is choice. Moment by moment, I have a choice.
Yes.
And I choose to live in the solution. So I choose to look for solutions. I choose to believe that life is that life is a journey of learning and growing. So I choose to be happy, and I choose not to live in problems because that's not part of my lifestyle.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. And I appreciate you coming up here. And I just want to do just a quick shout out here to Ginger and Dr. Mina. If you would like to come on up and just share if you got something new out of this or just reconfirmed something out of this. And tomorrow, hi, Ginger.
Hello again. We meet again, right?
I love it. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Absolutely. I was just carrying my groceries up, and I've got my earpods in. So I've always believed in writing something down by hand. I mean, today I know we've got all of these electronic devices, and there's just something, a correlation. When I write it, it sticks in my head. So I'm a writer right now, writing my book, and I do everything pen to paper. Then later I'll have to go in and transpose, obviously, to the WordPress and things like that. But it's just something about it, and I can't really wrap my mind around how powerful that is. But I kind of had a question about what I heard. What do you think the significance is about not telling people the plan? Because I was always under the impression that I speak things into existence, and I would think that the more I would speak it out of the mouth. So I was just curious, because I didn't catch this from the beginning. So I was just wondering if you had anything to say about that.
Well, it says, so I'm going to repeat the verse because it's a little bit different than what you just said. It says, the omnipotent power, i.e. God, within you does not enter into any controversial argument. It is waiting and willing to serve when you are ready. But your objective mind is so susceptible to suggestion that it is almost impossible to make any satisfactory progress when surrounded by skeptics. Therefore, choose your friends carefully and associate with people who now have some of the things that you really want. But do not discuss your method of accomplishment with them.
Thank you for that clarification. Yes, now I receive that. Absolutely, 100%. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. And it's interesting, Ginger, because when you ask that question, and I open up the book, it's in italics, right? Do not discuss your method of accomplishment with them.
Wow, it's amazing. I needed to hear that right now, for sure.
And put down on your list of wants such materialist things as money, home, automobile, or whatever it may be, but do not stop there. Be more definite. If you want an automobile, decide what kind, style, price, color, and all the details, including when you want it. If you want a home, plan the structure, the grounds, and furnishings. Decide on location and cost. If you want money, write down the amount. If you want to break a record in your business, put it down. It may be a sales record. If so, write out the total, the date required, then the number of items you must sell to make it. Also, list your prospects and put after each name the sum expected. This may seem very foolish at first, but you can never realize your desires if you do not know positively and in detail what you want and when you want it. If you cannot decide this, you are not in earnest. You must be definite. And when you are, results will be surprising and almost unbelievable. In fact, for those of you, and I think pretty much everybody here I know, and there's a lot of faith in the room right now. God says, pray thanks for the receipt of what it is you're praying for. As if you have it already. Have you heard that before, Suzanne or Ginger?
Oh, absolutely. And I would just like to attest to that about the vehicle. It reminds me of when my daughter, she was in another state working, and she said, you know, Mom, I'm going to go get a car. So she went to the dealership, and of course she had me on the phone to help her negotiate through that. Well, the salesman, suddenly she called me, and she was in a brand new car going for a test drive. And I said, Victoria, what happened to the Jeep? You have spoken that you wanted a Jeep, that you're getting a Jeep for over a year now. And why are you in a Nissan? She was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. And I said, well, politely let him know. That's great and all, but I came in specifically looking for a Jeep. And I said, Victoria, not only that, you wanted a white Jeep. You wanted this specific model of Jeep. You wanted the moonroof. What happened to all of that vision? And she said, okay, you're right. So she stayed on the phone. She told the salesman, said, you know what, thanks. I'm just going to look around. I said, tell me you just want to go by yourself and just go see. And so she did it. And it wasn't 2 minutes later, Mom, there's the Jeep. There's the white Jeep. And she just ran to it. And she ran and she said, you're not going to believe this. It's white and it has this and it has that. And I said, I think I kind of do believe it because that's all you've spoken about for a year. And I said, there's your Jeep. And she, amazing how she went through with the dealer. And they're like, are you sure you want this Jeep? Are you sure? Because obviously she's young. She was 22, and they're trying to put her in this new car with this big fat payment of $700 or $800, which she could have afforded at her age, and that's great. But it's not what she wanted.
Right.
You know, she manifested that. She lost her way for a second, but it's surrounding ourselves with the like-minded people, like being in this room, and the people who we all believe and we know what God has for us. All we have to do is go get it because it's already there. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. It's really great. And with that, I am going to hit the pause button and be back here to.
With that, I would like to finish with just exactly what she said. The one of the last couple sentences with what she said would be a great way to close. And an embarrassing moment for me, but a great way to close on the principles of the book. It works. However, the famous little red book that makes your dreams come true, it works. It was in my stack of books that I haven't even picked up and read yet. So it only works if you do it.
Oh my.
I must confess, but what can I say? At least I found it. I don't have to order it. And I have it in front of me so I can open it up and start reading it.
Oh my goodness. That is
there all the time. That's great. That's great.
I just do it, right?
That is hilarious.
Stop wanting to do things perfect, or think that might not know, might not be able to know how to do it 100%, so you don't do it. That's what happens to perfectionism, even though you think you're not, even though I thought I got over the perfectionism, apparently it's still there. But I got the book, thank you, and thank you, God, for putting me in the room, because I've been working all day. So thank God that I got into the room. There's no coincidences, they're God instances. And the other part of it is there's no coincidences, they're God instances, and there's no coincidences as God being anonymous. That means he's speaking through people. There's no coincidence as God being anonymous. And I think that's a good way to end.
It is wonderful, and I appreciate it. And I have a little outro that I'll be playing, so you'll hear a little bit of music here. And I thank you all, and I will see you tomorrow afternoon if you are able to make it. Otherwise,
what time?
3:30 Central.
3:30 Central. Okay, I will calculate that for Eastern. Okay,
so it'll be 4:30 your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you want to catch the replays, they'll be on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and also on here on Clubhouse. So thank you all. Appreciate you both. Thanks, Suzanne and Ginger, for being on stage. Dr. Mina, thank you so much for being here. Sorry I bumped you down to the audience in the beginning. Mayma and Hardeep, look forward to seeing you tomorrow if you can make it.
So you have a Facebook group or something?
Well, yes, I do. Less is more coaching on Facebook.
Coaching with Les has doubled my practice.
We've increased our sales by about 33%, blowing all of our goals out of the water.
In my first 6 months, I actually grew my business with his help over 500%. Literally 500%.
Les Hill is the type of person that invests back in you and back into your company. So if you're looking for a business coach with integrity, choose Les Hill.